Hello and welcome everyone on this official platform of Legacy IAS Academy. Bangladesh stands at a crossroad, a nation caught between the hope and the fear. So last year's monsoon revolution shook the very foundation of the country, toppling Sheikh Hasina's long decade rule. But as Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus leads a fragile interim government, one question looms large. Will this be a true break from Bangladesh's dark past of repression, or just a brief pause before the cycle of political violence starts again? So in this video, we will uncover the untold stories behind the brutal crackdowns, the hidden battles between the army as well as the new leadership, and why the upcoming elections could either bring lasting change or drag Bangladesh back into the chaos. So let's dive deep into the facts with respect to the Bangladesh, which is at the crucial point in its political history. So after last year's mass protest, which is also known as the monsoon revolution, which removed Sheikh Hasina from power after more than a decade, you can say a temporary caretaker government which is led by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, who has taken over the government. However, in this video, we are going to discuss the most important thing, because there is one article: without reform, Bangladesh risks backsliding into the repression. Now, after that, this article also says that just holding election later this year won't solve the country's deep-rooted problems. Without serious reforms, Bangladesh risks falling back into a pattern of violence and the repressions. So what are the key points which are mentioned in this newspaper, or you can say in this article of the Diplomat? So let's understand. So the first key point here is violence and repression under the security forces. Yes. How? So let me tell you that Bangladesh security force under the direction of political leaders who killed about 1400 people during the crackdown on a student-led protest between July and August last year, and security forces like this RAB, that is Rapid Action Battalion, which have long been accused of extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. And apart from this, another important point here is the role of political parties. What is the role of political parties? So let me tell you two important political parties of Bangladesh. That is two main political parties, Awami League and Bangladesh Nationalist Party. And they have a history of using violence, illegal detentions, and also the killing against their opponents whenever they are in power. So there is a long history. And this has just weakened the key institutions like judiciary and police over the time. Apart from this, the last year monsoon revolution. Now, unlike previous protests which is led by the political party, the monsoon revolution was driven by the students and civil society who demanded an end to corruption, nepotism and political violence. And this resulted into Sheikh Hasina's removal from power. Now, apart from this, there are various investigations and findings. Now, with respect to investigations and findings, like human rights group 40 Rights, they have investigated the crackdown after the protest, and they interviewing 44 survivors as well as eyewitness in the cities like Chittagong, or you can say Chattogram, Cox's Bazar and Dhaka. And they found that police, you can say that border guard Bangladesh and Awami League youth wing who attacked peaceful protesters. An independent commission who are investigating and they enforced disappearance discovered that security forces try to cover up the crimes by repainting and altering the detention sites. So these are some very important challenges Now, what are the current challenges that Bangladesh is facing? Now, the army is resisting oversight and also the blocking independent investigations. Like recently, UN fact-finding mission, they stress that only major reforms can prevent the future abuses. And that is why United Nations, they called for banning the use of lethal firearms like rifles, birdshot against the protesters. Getting my point? Second important thing, disbanding the RAB due to its role in extrajudicial killings. There are various cases against this RAB, and Bangladesh own police reform commission, they support the re-evaluating RAB's role. Now, apart from this, what are the recent developments? Now, recent developments, last month protested they against, now last month only, the protesters of Bangladesh, they attacked Dhanmondi 32, which is a museum and the former home of Bangladesh founding leader, that is Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. As you can see here, after Sheikh Hasina speaking from exile in India. This was done after Sheikh Hasina was speaking from exile in India. And this encouraged the resistance against the interim government also. Now, in response of this, government has launched the Operation Devil Hunt. Government ने कौन सा operation launch किया? Devil Hunt. And they have arrested over 11,000 people and many are linked to Awami League. So there are concerns that these operations might be more punishing political opponents than ensuring the justice. Now, the ongoing political turmoil in Bangladesh with the fall of Sheikh Hasina, so let me tell you, this is, and the rise of the interim government, which is led by the Mohammad Yunus, and also the persistent struggle between the security forces as well as the reformers. All these things has the ripple effect that extend beyond its borders. Now, it can have implications, it can have future implications over South Asia. Now, what can be the possible implications? Now, the first implication could be regional stability and security risk. Regional stability and security risk. Now, this regional stability and security risk. So, let me tell you that cross-border tensions may rise, especially with India, given Sheikh Hasina is historically close to New Delhi, and her removal and the subsequent protests could stain India-Bangladesh relations. As India watches closely to ensure the situation does not create instability along its eastern border. And a weakened security apparatus in Bangladesh could also create a gaps in counter-terrorism efforts, which affects the regional cooperation against the extremist groups. Apart from this, the second important thing here, second implication could be geopolitical realignments. Now, how geopolitical realignments? Geopolitical realignments. Now, how geopolitical realignment? Now, with Sheikh Hasina's pro-India stance now under the question, there is an opening for China and other regional power to expand their influence in Bangladesh, particularly through economic investments and infrastructure projects under the Belt Road initiatives. And Mohammad Yunus administration may face pressure to balance relations with India, China, as well as Western powers. Now, apart from this thing, there are various additions which adds the new layers of complexity to South Asia's already delicate geopolitical landscape. And apart from this, there can be implications with respect to inspiration for protest as well as movements. So there are various other things: protest and movements. Now, how protests and movements? So let me tell you, the success of the student-led monsoon revolution, it could inspire the youth movements in the neighboring countries like Pakistan, like India and Sri Lanka, where young people are already vocal about the corruption, unemployment, as well as authoritarianism. And it could also set the precedent for non-parties in grassroots uprising in the region. It can also encourage the activists to challenge the entrenched political dynamics. So, apart from this, there are other implications like impact on regional authoritarianism. Now, impact on regional authoritarianism. Now, how regional authoritarianism? So, let me tell you that other authoritarian leaning governments in South Asia might tighten their grip on dissent to avoid similar uprisings. Countries like Sri Lanka as well as Pakistan, they may view Bangladesh unrest as a warning, and they can push their government to expand their surveillance control over media and also the crackdown of protests to prevent a similar kind of fate which happened in Bangladesh. Apart from this, economic consequences can also be there. Now, how economic consequences? So, Bangladesh political instability could disrupt the regional trade, especially within the BBIN, Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal framework. It can slow down the joint infrastructure projects and as well as cross-border connectivity initiatives. Now, let me tell you, if the unrest deepens, then foreign investors may pull back, which could indirectly affect South Asia's broader economic framework, or you can say broader economic outlook. So that is why there should be stability in Bangladesh. Apart from this, human rights and justice movement. So this is also very important. Human rights and justice movement. Now, how human rights and justice movement? Now, the UN fact-finding mission, they call for the reforms and accountability in Bangladesh. It may strengthen the regional as well as human right frameworks. It could also push countries like Nepal, Sri Lanka, as well as Pakistan, which have also faced allegations of state violence, and to face renewed international pressure for accountability as well as reforms. So let me tell you that currently the crisis, so Bangladesh current crisis is not isolated. It is a signal to entire South Asia region of the risk which is unchecked authoritarianism and the power of youth-led movement and the shift sands of regional politics. Now the thing here is what happened next in Dhaka. Now, whatever the thing that is going to happen in Dhaka could very well shape the future of South Asia's political landscape. So, Bangladesh must reform its security and justice system before the next elections. And if not, the same structures that allowed past repression will remain and ready to be used by whoever wins power next. So without real reforms, let me tell you, this period of transition might only be a brief break before the cycle of political violence starts again. So Bangladesh is standing on the knife edge, and without bold reforms to its security and justice system, this transition will be nothing more than a false dawn, a fleeting moment before history repeats itself. So the stakes couldn't be the higher. The fight is not just against the corrupt politicians or violent security forces. It is a fight for the soul of a nation. And if you believe that in a future where justice triumphs over impunity, where elections are more than just the ritual, and where the youth demand for change cannot be silenced, then share this video. Let the world know what's at stake for Bangladesh. Because the battle for the better tomorrow starts with awareness today. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's keep the conversation going. See you in the next video. Thank you so much.